All right, all right. We are back in action here after the regular season. It is the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. Tennessee, Iowa. The Vols lead 14-0. I am Charlie Burris. That is former Vols quarterback Jonathan Crompton. We're going to talk about that first half, the debut of Nico. Big time moment for Tennessee football there. We're going to discuss it all. But first, I got to tell you, of course, as always, about our great sponsors, BetterHelp. Go to betterhelp.com/ATOZ sports and save 10% on your first month with BetterHelp. Zen Sports, the fastest growing sports book in Tennessee. Rattle and Snap Tennessee whiskey. Make your own luck just like Tennessee's fast-paced rattle and snap offense with Rattle and Snap Tennessee whiskey. And the offense was a little more rattly and snappy in that half. What'd you think? I'll throw it out there to you. That first half, what'd you think, Crown?
Well, first off, I'm assuming a lot of people have seen the movie Super Troopers.
I know I have.
It almost feels like these announcers, side note, not a big fan, as you can tell by my tone of voice, or have a bet within house on how many times I can say the word or the phrase true freshman.
Oh.
Like, that's just, guys, after the first or second time you say it, we all understand. Like, so that was my first initial thought of it. It's just, I'm in a group text with my dad and his buddies, and we keep making fun of it. It's like, guys, we get it. Like, and the thing is, he's going to be a freshman next year too, because he redshirted. So, like, we get it. So, are we going to continue to say redshirt freshman? Sorry, that was my first initial takeaway of the first half, because we've played well, a total of 218 yards. Against a good Iowa defense. So, I mean, it's honestly, if you think about it, it's about on par where we've been all year as far as offensively. If Iowa can win 10 games in the Big Ten, then we probably want to, let's just go ahead and buy out with SEC and go to the Big Ten. Good God. They are hard to watch. It's hard to watch our defense on the field right now because Iowa sucks. Like, it's just, you know what I'm saying? I guess what I'm saying is it's not fun to watch Iowa-style football, right? So, but early on, both teams' first drive, not great, obviously. We get just a horrific punt, and then our defense coming out and getting a turnover on third down on, like, the 6-yard line. Great for us. Bad mistake by them. Phenomenal with our free safety making a play to get an interception to save points. Because Iowa, let's call it like it is. They've struggled all year. They only average like 12 or 13 points a game, something like that. Not a lot. So for us to get that
16.
early on, is that turnover down there was huge. So that was, I'm excited to see that, because I text my dad in our group text and was like, guys, listen, if Tennessee doesn't throw a shutout, we should probably start talking about a new defense coordinator, because that's how bad Iowa's offense is.
We said in this show this past week, we said if Iowa puts up more than 14 on you, we might need to have a discussion.
No, and that's, like, I'm laughing as I say it, like, but I'm also serious. Like, that's how bad Iowa's offense is. So that was encouraging to see from our defense to bow their neck and get a turnover. And then offensively, we've talked about it all year. We are a run-first team. We ran for 126 yards, right on pace for where we need to be for over 200. So that helps, because, last year we talked about 150 was our number. This year, really 200 is our number. And so we're above par to get there at 126 right now. So I think we're on pace to do what we're supposed to do today.
Well, so Noah already left a super chat here. He says, what are your honest thoughts on Nico? But before getting to the honest thoughts on Nico, obviously we can flesh that out, and that's going to probably end up being the bulk of this halftime show, the post-game show, what everybody wants to know about, especially from a former Vol quarterback there. But I would say this to start, and a bunch of people have said it in the comments too. The offensive line is a patchwork today, and it shows. And then I would also say Dylan Sampson, he needs to step up the blocking. There were kind of 2 glaring mistakes there in that half, maybe more, but he needs to step up that blocking. But I also he's really small, and I don't know if he have the ability to step up that blocking. That's concerning.
There's one that specifically comes to my mind at the last drive on the third down. or second down. That was not the linebacker coming through. You could tell was strictly not his responsibility with his demeanor. The guard just clearly, our left guard clearly fanned out left, shouldn't have. So there's obviously been a few mistakes in protection. But if you notice, guys, we've talked about that all year almost. Like, not necessarily protection in itself, but our O-line has been kind of suspect all year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Even when it was full health.
Granted, we've had to have weeks where it's been kind of fill in place, right? But going back to the first drive, we cannot have a holding and then a false start and back-to-back plays to start. We just can't.
Yeah, no.
And that's been our MO up front for a while. It's you can't do that. You just cannot do that. But I'm kind of surprised that Sampson's not been in later in the first half.
Yeah, Selden got a lot of play there.
And I like him. I do, or at least I like what I've seen so far.
For sure. It's nine carries for 70 yards, 7.8 average. And on a defense that on the season had only given up like 2 runs over 20 yards the entire season, and he's averaging 8 against them. I mean, it's not bad. So
yeah, so we're doing, like I said, in the run game, we're doing well. That's where we thrive. We are not, and we talked about it all year. Hell, even last year, or since Heupel's been there, we'll say it that way. We're not a pass first team.
Yeah,
we're a run first team. So when we run the ball well, we play well. We're running the ball well today. We're averaging 4.8 yards a carry as a team, and that's obviously including sacks, taking into that. But 4.8 yards a carry, I promise you, anybody calling a play would take that.
For sure.
You'd like it to be over 5, but you're not going to sit there and bicker and argue over 0.2 away.
I think it's pretty clear that Iowa just doesn't play this type of offense essentially ever on defense, and Tennessee is gouging them in a way that they've been gouged very rarely this season, and they didn't have a ton of opt-outs on that defense. But it's let's get to this now that we've talked about the blocking and everything. Just before we move to the first sponsored segment, just your honest thoughts on Nico in that first half, and what
yeah,
did you think of his debut?
I think he's played well. He's made a couple throws. He's obviously, if we want to go completion percentage, you would like it to be a little better, but then we've talked about all year that can be skewed. There's some drops, especially late in the first half. Squirrel dropped one, then we came right back to him. So I do think he's made some plays. I think he's made plays with his feet more than his arm today, outside of that one throw on the back shoulder on that last drive. Other than that, I think Heupel's done a really good job of protecting him. Not making him make the games on you type play. I think that's very smart by Heupel. We don't want to, it's his first game starting. You don't want to quote unquote ruin him by saying, hey, this whole game's on you playing a top 10 defense, all that, when we have enough around knowing that Iowa's offense, just lack of a better term, sucks. So like I said, I think Heupel's done a good job of doing that. His 2 rushing touchdowns, I think, were good play calls, the QB draw. And in that one, Sampson did pick up his linebacker properly. Then the straight-up quarterback outside zone or sweep left also, I think, was a good play call. With Milton, we had been doing speed option in that way. Now we're doing it, as you can see, where it's just straight-up run for Nico. So you can see the styles are a little different in that sense. Instead of having an option to pitch, you're just going to straight up run because he is more elusive. So it's been fun to watch in that sense. I'm just intrigued when we get to next year and things are a little more quote unquote meaningful because we know how the bowl games go. I want to see him go through a game with progressions that Josh says, here's the whole game plan.
Yes.
I think he is taking pressure off for him today. And I think that's smart for him to do.
We talked about that in the game preview. Like, would they open it up for Nico and Kenny? And no, they're playing the hits, and that's what they needed to do. And they're just keeping it out in front of him, and that's good. I like how they've handled it. I like how he's handled it. That throw to Keaton, I mean, that's a phenomenal throw.
Well, and this is the stuff, but this is what we talked about all year. Think about it. When's Keaton made that catch all year? Like, but we're wanting him to make that catch, and he finally does. And if you watch the replay, his toes that far from being out of bounds, like, it's phenomenal. So if we get that play all year, who knows if? And this is obviously none of us are going to know. Why would, like, if they're making those plays all year, does Nico play earlier? We don't know. Maybe he wasn't playing earlier because the receivers weren't playing great. Who knows? But I mean, he's looked solid today. But like I said, I really think that Heupel's done a tremendous job not putting it all on him.
Absolutely, I completely agree there. Chill mode kind of, he says what my general thought was. Nico looks really smooth. He just, I tweeted that out. He looks like he's gliding around out there, and it's just really nice that a kid that is this young, this inexperienced, is coming in and making plays that sort of make you go, oh, ooh, look at that. That's great. And he has that ability already. And you can just tell when he learns to throw the ball away, and when he learns these things, becomes more experienced. I think you watch that first half and you go like, this kid can definitely be special. He can absolutely be special. So quick takeaway there, but we do got to pay the bills here. Let's get to this first segment. The better help. Who can better help Tennessee in this second half? Shut it down. Now, with 14 points, you may think Tennessee might have 14 points more than they need already to win this game, but
really 13,
13. You would need 1 point to win, I guess. But it's not like Iowa's offense is going to be a burner, but who can better help Tennessee in this second half win? We'll talk about it right after I tell you, of course, about better help. If you're a Vol fan like myself and Crompton, you know how many years the Big Orange have shaved off your life with the emotional roller coaster of college sports, or maybe the roller coaster of life is messing with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals. Regardless, if you have a clinical mental health issue like depression or anxiety, or if you're just a human being going through a hard time, therapy can give you tools to approach your life in a different way. And that's where BetterHelp comes into play. BetterHelp's mission is to help make therapy more affordable and more accessible. And this is an important mission because finding a therapist can be hard, especially when you're limited to just the options in your area. And BetterHelp's platform makes finding a therapist easier because it's online and remote. And BetterHelp can match you to a professional therapist in as little as a few days. Plus, with our link, betterhelp.com/ATOZ Sports, you get 10% off your first month. See a therapist because maintaining your mental health is just as important as maintaining your physical health. This football season, check out betterhelp.com/ATOZ Sports and save 10% on your first month. That is BetterHelp. Cromp, I'll throw it to you. Who can better help Tennessee seal this one up?
Oh, we can go a few different ways with this. I'm going to go with Squirrel White. I just think that give him the ball in the space a little bit more. I mean, he's only got one catch. Now he's had a couple. I think he's had 2 attempts, but he's only got one catch. Get the ball to him out in space and let him kind of go make a play. He gets out in space and goes. Who knows what can happen? If I were to pick a second one, which we don't really do that, I would really like to say Samson. But you can tell they're kind of going away from him in the backfield. But I like him. I'm going to go with what I've said all year, though. Put him in the slot. Put him and Squirrel on opposite sides of each other and get the ball in space.
Absolutely. Obviously, the easy choice is Nico there. Just keep keep feeding that young man. Let him do what he's been doing because he's looked really solid so far. But I'll go defensive line because they were eating in that first half. They had a nice first half. They got run on some, not a ton. I mean, that was about the only thing that Iowa could do. But just seal up the run, keep sacking this quarterback. Their quarterback is abysmal, man. No offense to the kid. He's trying really hard out there. He's just really not great at the game of college football.
What's his spirit? He's 4 of 11 for 29 yards.
Ooh,
They've only ran for 52. So think about it. They have less than 100 yards total offense. Our defense is playing really well today.
They really are, and just keep that up because as you said to lead off our time here, if Iowa scores almost at all, we might need to have a discussion with the
we need to have a chit chat on the bus ride to the airport.
It's tough.
They're not very good.
They're very, very bad on offense. So I'll say that. Just seal it up. You already got 14 points. That should be more than enough. I mean, worst case scenario, like 14-6. Maybe Iowa gets a couple of field goals or something. I feel that, but I just, I think this one needs to end 28-3 Tennessee. And speaking of that, we can get to our final sponsored segment here of this half and talk about the line. Will Tennessee cover? Tennessee, I think, a 6-point favorite coming into this one. And I even said, I had that feeling of the last Iowa game where I was just like, I don't know. The Big Ten is a little bit of a sham. And yeah, they went 10-2. They played in that title game, whatever. But like, I kind of feel like if Tennessee scores a couple touchdowns, they're going to win by a couple touchdowns. So it looks like it might be coming true. But let's talk about it right after I mentioned the great Zen Sports. We've been talking about Zen Sports all season long, the new sports betting app exclusively in Tennessee. When you sign up for a Zen Sports account, you'll receive up to a $1,000 no danger first wager. That's right. When you place your first bet in Zen Sports, you can be reimbursed for the amount of your bet up to $1,000 maximum if the bet loses. But there's even more good news. Zen Sports has a new VIP rewards program. VIP rewards will allow top-tier customers to earn more bonuses, comps, and perks. And the VIP program is by invite only. So if you feel your Zen Sports play qualifies for VIP consideration, check out the program at zensports.com/VIP. No other sportsbook will offer you a premier sports betting experience with 24/7 top-tier customer support and fast withdrawals like Zen Sports. So what are you waiting for? Get going and download their app at zensports.com today. That is Zen Sports. Betting just got better. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. You must be 21 or older to bet in Tennessee. I mean, it obviously seems pretty likely that Tennessee is going to cover in this one, up 14. I can try to find the live line here. It is.
I don't even think it really matters.
17.5 for Tennessee. Will Tennessee score another touchdown and blank Iowa here?
Yeah, man, I think we cover. I mean, I think Iowa may get a field goal, but it's bad when your best player is your punter.
That's tough.
It is being honest. It's just what it is. But no, I think we cover. I'm not going to say like handedly cover, because at a certain point, I think we're just going to start, running the ball to get it over with.
Yep.
But I do think we cover. You say 17.5.
17.5 at the moment.
I'm thinking more. I'm thinking around a 24-point win in that range.
My prediction in this week's show was 24-13. I don't think I was going to score 13. I think I gave him a little too much benefit of the doubt there. I'll stick with 24 like yourself, and I'll say 24-3, 24-6, something like that.
Yeah, I think it's in that range. I really do. It's just hard to watch. I mean, I saw a comment that said, Iowa's quarterback looks like Kentucky's old guy, like Lorenzen. Like, yeah, but Lorenzen was good.
Yeah.
And that's what they said. They're like, yeah, but Kentucky's guy was good. And I was like, yeah, Lorenzen was good.
Yeah, man. The Pillsbury throw boy. He was great.
It's tough to watch. It really is. It's tough to watch Iowa football. Like I'm not trying to hate on them. I'm just being honest. Like Iowa fans, like I wish we had some Iowa fans on here so I could ask them, like, what's it like watching this all year? Like, honestly, I know there's I know they have double-digit wins. I haven't looked at their schedule, but like, that's got to be legitimately tough to watch all year long.
I mean, I can tell you as a also Titans fan, and speaking of Kentucky quarterbacks, this is pretty much like watching Titans football. It might be a little worse. And it's like
I hope so.
Like getting your teeth pulled out.
I hope Iowa's worse than watching that for your sake.
It's like getting your teeth pulled out. It just really is horrendous. I don't suggest it, but such is life. So there's that. We'll be back in this post game, win, lose, draw, rain or shine. Myself.
There you go. Well, I do want to say one thing before we get off here.
Go ahead.
There's one specific person, and honestly, he's not even worth giving a shout out to because he's probably a low life. But sitting here trying to say, "Oh, this halftime show sucks." Nobody's making you watch. Take your ass home, dude. Nobody cares.
Yeah, I mean,
like, literally. If you want to, we can get into a discussion about yourself if you really want to. Nobody's wanting you here. If you don't want to be here, go home. Have a good life. We're here to talk football with people that want to be here and hang out and have a good show. And you're the only one that's trying to be negative. Ain't nobody want that in our life because you're probably miserable yourself. all good, man. Just go somewhere else.
Well, for the people who do enjoy the show, and it seems like there's a pretty good amount of them. There's like 400 people in here watching us.
Nice.
During this halftime, join us with the post game. After this game is over, we'll be back talking here about everything, and we'll get into the postseason a little bit and just kind of do a post-mortem on the season after, sadly, this is the final half of Tennessee football, folks. Enjoy it.
It kind of sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah, for another, what would it be? Another 8 months.
It's weird, man. It's always weird to say that.
I know. And enjoy it while we got it.
Shows for bowl games are a little longer. They're still not even on yet. So.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, they're just showing some random highlights, which means they're coming back soon. But
I think they had like a musical performance or something, didn't they?
Did they?
I don't know.
It's on mute, and I'm kind of watching. I'm kind of not, But
we always do 20 minutes. That's been my wrap up every time with these. So we'll let them do whatever they're gonna do. We'll get back with the half. Thanks to everybody for watching, and we'll talk to y'all in a few minutes.